Are you chasing happiness while feeling like you are always running away from life? Here's what you need to know. Wherever you look, it seems like happiness is being prescribed to you. Do this to be happy, enjoy that to experience the ultimate state of well-being. Chase this lifestyle to be fulfilled with your existence. And always smile, because nothing will bring you more joy than other people admiring you in your happy state of being. And yet, if you are being honest, friend, you know that such a way of life is just a refuge from life itself, and whenever you choose such a path, you refuse to actually live. If you have not figured out by now what road to choose to live a happy life, you might want to listen to the story I'm about to tell you. A young man, a friend of mine, was marked from a very young age with the instinct of numbers. He was very good at math and physics. His father was a celebrated and wealthy engineer. Later on in this young man's life, he discovered that he also had a very strong instinct for writing stories, for authorship, but his father was convinced that literature is an absurd and despicable profession. Become an engineer, the father said, and I will give you unique help and you will be a made man. Become an author and you get nothing from me except opposition. There is nothing in writing books for you other than misery and poverty. Life, however, has provided this young man the instinct for letters and writing, which for him was much stronger than the one for numbers and engineering. And life has also provided a scope for its fulfillment, but the price which the young man has to pay for the fulfillment of his talents is very high, and he hesitates. The price includes comfort, parental approval, domestic peace, money, luxury, practically all the ingredients of the mixture commonly known and accepted as happiness. Of course, by following his own path, by following literature, the young man may recover all and more than the price he has to pay, but also he may not. The chances are higher that he will not. He will be risking nearly everything to buy a ticket to the lottery. The young man takes some time to think about his options. He closes his eyes and imagines being a prudent and obedient young fellow, and he denies his chances at this lottery. His instinct for literature has not developed very far anyway, so in his imagination he sacrifices it and becomes an engineer. He fantasizes how by hard work, goodwill and native brains he becomes a very fair engineer, and in due course a successor of his father. He treats his co-workers well, he marries and treats his wife and children well, and his terrific success becomes a model to his fellow men. His attention to duty, his altruism, his real kindness are the theme of conversation among all his friends and relatives. And yet, just as a smile was about to crack on the corner of his mouth, his imagination took him to another place. If his instinct towards literature was genuine, he will not be happy with his path in life. In that moment, he realized that whenever he will have the chance to meet an author or to read about authors or to be deeply impressed by a book, he will actually be aware that he has committed the grave fault of taking refuge in life. In that moment, he realizes that the smooth path of engineering is in fact a rough path, and the rough path of literature, which he dared not face, might actually be, with all its difficulties, the smooth one, and if he will not choose the second, his existence will become a vast secret and poisonous regret, regardless of the success and happiness the outside world perceives. While this young man still struggles with his choice today, understand from his story, friend, that you can also run away from life, and you can do it in ways far more subtle and less drastic than those which I have shared with you. On your pursuit of a fulfilling life, remember that you as a man must define happiness for yourself. Rule out all the dictionary definitions, since many of them will define it together with good fortune or prosperity, which is absurd, and you can see that it is absurd by just observing some bitter faces of filthy rich people who made their fortunes by selling out their soul, their passions, their aspirations, and their dignity. Keep in mind, friend, that you can never be in a state of well-being, you can never be happy, if any of your faculties, if any of your inclinations are permanently idle and numb through any fault or choice of your own. The foundation of happiness is the full expression and utilization of all your faculties, and such expression of skills and instincts does not involve the idea of good fortune or prosperity or peace and serenity or pleasure or even a dominantly agreeable emotion. Very often it involves the contrary. Happiness includes predominantly the idea of satisfaction after full honest effort. Because even in the face of serious mistakes, errors that can darken your existence, in the end, if the path you choose is your own, you will be able to admit to yourself and say, I made a fool of myself, and still be fairly happy. But you will never be satisfied and happy if you feel that in some challenging situation you have failed to take up the challenge of life, whatever that challenge might be for you, because a voice within you, the one no one else can hear but which you cannot quiet down, will constantly be whispering, you lacked courage, you didn't have the guts, you ran away from life. And I am telling you, friend, if happiness means comfort, approval, peace, money, luxury, with the price of your inclinations, aspirations and dignity, it is happier to be unhappy in the ordinary sense all your life than to have to listen at the end of each day to that dreadful inner voice that always knows what you gave up for a mere illusion. The end of our talk can only end with the following question. Will you sell out your soul? Will you give up on your aspirations? Will you abandon your dignity to follow the path of happiness prescribed by others? Or will you dare to follow your instincts, listen to your own callings in life, and pursue happiness on your own terms? The choice is yours to make.